Minnesota's classic rock, 92 KQRS, the Beatles here in the ride home. And with any luck, I'm going to push a button, and we're going to hear a very famous guy on the other end of it. Good afternoon.
Hello, hello, hello.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Robby Krieger of The Doors joining us today on KQ.
Right on.
It's a big deal we got coming up, Robbie. Big milestone. Light My Fire, turning 50, the official date on Saturday, when they went to the top of the heap.
Yeah, went to number one.
Now, I gotta ask you a question now. I've read it's your song, but then I've also read you wrote part of it. Now, what part, or did you write the entire thing?
I wrote the entire thing except for the second verse, which is the one about the funeral pyre. That was Jim's idea.
And
man, you need some death in there, you know?
Leave it to Jim. Yeah, that must have been a trip dealing with the one and only Jim Morrison back in the summer of love, man. I went out in L.A. tooling around and being, you know, the Doors, for crying out loud, all the clubs that you guys played and all the crazy stuff you must have encountered.
Yeah, it was a good time to be in L.A. The summer of love, and everything just seemed like it was changing and going our way for a change.
You spend any time up in Northern California or San Francisco, I imagine, too?
Oh, yeah. We played up there quite a bit at the Fillmore and Avalon, Winterland, you know, all the places up there. Bill Graham presents. And, you know, we used to play with the Airplane and the Dead and all those guys.
You know, not only on the West Coast, but I mean all over the world and on the East Coast of here too. I read a little bit about the famous Miami show. Can you tell us about that?
Oh gosh, that was.
I mean, that one seemed pretty colorful.
Yeah, I mean, to me it was like a normal Doors show, you know, but people blew it all out of proportion, you know. I mean, the stage did collapse, you know, and I don't know if you saw the movie, the Oliver Stone movie, but that was a pretty good representation. And, you know, they said Jim whipped it out, but but come on, let's face it, if he had done that, don't you think somebody would have snapped a picture of it?
I would think.
There was like 2,000 photographs entered into evidence, and not one had that on it.
And that's before phones, you know.
Right, and believe me, it would have been hard to miss. It was not small.
So obviously, that's interesting to know. I just caught what you said. I mean, obviously, you know, the press and whatever, and old wives' tales and things get passed down. The story grows and changes and evolves into something crazier than it really was.
Yeah, but I mean, it was quite a deal then because you know, there were some politicians down there that were running for office, and they decided to make a big deal about it, and so they had this what was called a decency rally. That Jackie Gleason of all people was there, you know, the dirty old man of show business, and they made a scapegoat out of us, I guess you could say. The
guy who came out with the album Music for Lovers Only is worried about decency. Oh, kidding. Well, as I'd heard about that story, you know, and also, you know, I see that Rhino is coming out with a big re-release of a bunch of Doors material. Yeah, well, there's all the singles, all the hit singles that we had, and I never realized how many we had, but... Gee, I'm looking at the list. It goes on and on. It's 2 pages. Yeah, 45... let me see, how many was it? On my list, it's 26 on disc 1 alone. 18 on the second disc, and then there's another Blu-ray best of as well. Yeah, with 20 singles with both sides, A and B sides. And these are all, and you know, you can get all of the vinyl, and there's one box that has all the vinyl stuff for those of you who are into 45 RPM vinyl. We get all whipped up around. We're playing over 90% of our music at KQRS is from vinyl source now. Is that right? Yeah, and all the Doors stuff we play is from vinyl. That's great. So we've been doing that. In fact, I got a copy of the 7-inch. Now, that's probably interesting to point that out because the 7-inch, the edit, which some people are not going to, you know, remember that, it's quite a bit shorter than the album one. But that's the one that became the hit, right? Yeah. You know, in those days you had to have
you had to be under 3 minutes pretty much to get it on the AM radio, because there were, FM was just starting. So to have a hit record, you had to be on AM radio, and you couldn't be long. But what happened was a couple of the stations started playing the long version of Light My Fire, which was 6 minutes, and then everybody started playing the long version, and here's the long version, so it was kind of a groundbreaker. And then Bob Dylan had, like a Rolling Stone, which was 5 or 6 minutes.
Sure. Yeah, so I might actually play that short one just because I got the 7-inch single, delivered to me from Rhino. Okay. Be something a little bit different. I'll be tossing it on here in just a bit. But I got to bring up, being a car guy, the Buick Opel incident.
Right.
I had a couple of car guys go, "Isn't there something to do with an Opel?" And I said, "Well, I'll ask him."
Yeah, the Opel had just come out, and Buick wanted to use Light My Fire for to advertise it. And so Ray and John and I thought it might be a cool idea. There'd never been a rock and roll song to advertise a car. But we couldn't find Jim, and he was nowhere around. And so we said, "Oh, he'll go for it, no problem," So we signed the deal, and then when Jim heard about it, he freaked. He said, "Well, you didn't tell me." And he said if they put out that ad, he would, I forget what he said he would do, but it wasn't nice.
There was a little destruction involved.
Yeah.
Something to do with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, so from then on, you've never heard a Doors song being used for an advertisement.
This is true, man. It's great. Well, since we're on the subject of cars, what was your first car?
My first car was a little Volkswagen.
The Beetle?
Yeah, the Beetle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was blue.
Back in the day, I suppose that fit right in, cruising around in L.A.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great car. And then later I got a Volkswagen bus, so we could haul our gear around in that.
Somehow I can see that too. We're talking to Robby Krieger of the Doors. I got to really thank you for joining us today. It's really exciting to, the Light My Fire anniversary coming up here, and it was perfect that you're able to take the time to call in.
This Saturday is the 50th anniversary of Light My Fire hitting number 1, and I'm going to be throwing out the first pitch at the Dodgers game the day before.
Yeah, I saw that. You're going to be doing that tomorrow, so
right.
Outstanding. Well, Robbie, thank you for joining us here at KQ. I'm going to give Light My Fire, the new 7-inch single on vinyl, a spin here, and we'll be rocking your tunes as we always do here at KQRS.
Great, man. I'll be listening.
Hey, thanks for joining us today.
All right, man. Thank you.
The single version of Light My Fire from the Doors. I reached back and shut my turntable off so I don't wear up my expensive needle. I was actually played, it was in mono too, I noticed. Not only an edit, but a mono. Brand new copy of it sent in from the record label here at KQ. Thanks again, Robby Krieger, joining us on the show here today. All right, you can join KQ at CityWorks Eatery and Pour House in Minneapolis for a pre-Billy Joel concert party. It's going on tomorrow evening.